Without further ado, we're going to start off with Chris Romalee from Studio Octopi. No, you are, Chris. Chris is co-founder of Studio Octopi and also the Thames Baths Community Interest Company. Chris founded Studio Octopi in 2003. And perhaps the best known of the practice's high-profile collaboration is the Thames Baths, which has received global press coverage. And a few months ago, the practice also presented ideas for a floating parliament at a fraction of the cost of previous versions. So, Chris, over to you.
So I'm going to talk to you about our different sectors of work. We do standard work, which I'm calling Type A, for want of better for a better word, and various other items on that list. Our Type A projects are items of work which come to us which are based on fee proposals as opposed to doing design work up front and probably a traditional procurement method, so private residential work and stuck. Theatres and commercial spaces. And so these buildings are free from the pitfalls I'm about to describe, such as crowdfunding. So Thames Bath, which Helen's already mentioned, was an open call competition by the Royal Academy, which we got rather into we have been rather into for 5 years now. We formed a CIC separate to our company and did a Kickstarter campaign for 30 days. We raised £142,000, 1,200 backers, 25% of which came from global backers, so outside the UK. The project has opened up all sorts of different contacts, including interviewing Tracy Emin and having discussions about the future of the baths with companies like Speedo. And I guess what I'm saying here is that we're having conversations with people which architects don't normally have conversations with. I don't normally sit with Speedo and discuss how much money they might put into the baths. So that led us to Peckham Lido, which was a different scenario where clients came to us having seen Thames Bath and said, we have a CIC and we have community backing. Can you take us to a crowdfunding campaign? Which we did. And 98% of those pledges came from the local people around Peckham. And they made up 65% of the funds, which led us to a fabulous event called a Splash Mob, which again, I've not organised a Splash Mob before. And here you can see guys actually trying to swim on the common. And it was a very good involvement of the community. And because we don't really do public procurement work, that was a great insight into it. So this is our next project, which is live at the moment, which is a centre for marginalised youth in Kent, in Margate in particular, where we're crowdfunding to get a budget together to refurbish a building. Again, this guy came to me having seen Peckham, and this is on Space Hive. But I'm going to end the crowdfunding section by questioning, does it really work? We haven't delivered any of those 3 projects, or the 2 which have been successful. So maybe it doesn't work. And I went to a talk the other day where they said it doesn't work. So I'm got a few challenges ahead, I think. But it's interesting. The mayor's budget is 0.05% for crowdfunding, whereas in Paris it's 5% of the budget. So we've got a long way to go in London. So, open competitions. I'm already behind, so I'm going to speak quicker. This was a fabulously exciting project in 2010, which we won, which was our first open competition win, called the Stratford Kiosks. And we procrastinated back and forth with Newham for 2 years before they cancelled it. Another open competition with a beautiful image where we got shortlisted, and in the shortlisting interview, they said to us that the scheme was ugly. And to which our response was, well, why did you shortlist us then? So I guess what I'm saying about open competitions is go in there if you're very, very sure you're going to win it. Invited competitions is the other thing we do, and this was a fabulously exciting competition. We were approached by ALA architects in Helsinki, not Amanda Levitt in London, and they said, we've seen Thames Bath and we want you to work on the outdoor pools. What they didn't tell us was that the competition was Bjarke Ingels, Kengo Kuma, and 3 or 4 other international practices. So we got shortlisted, and that was it. Another invited competition for a job at Battersea Power Station, which I chased and chased over the many years. We were up against Wilkinson Eyre, Gensler, Dwight Marsh Morgan, and again we got shortlisted. But I guess what I'm saying here, the invited competitions are 10 times more exciting and 10 times more rewarding, because you know you've got a real chance of getting in there. You know there's only 5 others. And this is an invited competition we did win, and it was brilliant. It was a collaboration with Shihiro Fami, who we're just about to start another collaboration with on another international competition. And we won it, and we completed the project within good time. And the wonderful thing about this is it led to a incredibly exciting project, which is just finished, which I shouldn't be showing you an image of, because otherwise I'm going to be in trouble. So don't look at this image. But this is a collaboration with Mark Wallinger, the Turner Prize winning artist, and it is a piece at Runnymede in Surrey, celebrating the Magna Carta, which is opening on June the 15th, and no one's allowed to see it, even though if you go to Runnymede you see it. Deep breath. Parliament. So we did this slightly ridiculous scheme with Beckett Rankin, where they sent us a drawing saying, look, the chambers fit on top of the Woolwich ferries. The Woolwich ferries are going to be decommissioned at the end of next year. Why don't we propose a parliament which sits on the Woolwich ferries? And so we did. And it was very cheap. Next one is getting a little bit more interesting here. So this was a competition, well, an idea we had for a wellness garden with a client who's a therapist who came to us with a business plan and a concept for doing a wellness garden on a ferry. We then entered that into the anti-pavilion competition for the Architecture Foundation with a business plan, and we didn't win. Our architectural competition's really worth it. Cross-sector collaborations, final one, just to refresh you, is our latest proposal for a transportable pool on a back of a flat top, open top container on a flat bed truck. Why can't we do this? I don't know. We should be doing this. This is with Amy Sharrocks, who's an artist. A quick rule book, crowdfunding, make sure you've got a rapport with the client, make sure that legally the project can happen, make sure you get paid. Competitions, don't do open ones, do invited ones, read the brief, and don't sign any NDAs. Cross-sector collaborations, make sure your roles are clear, and communicate your ideas. Thank you very much.